Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, guys. Celtic Warband here, bringing you the last of my round 1 battles for my Rome 2 500 subscriber tournament. So we've already seen the last 3 battles of round 1 against 6 very good competitors. So if you haven't seen those 3, go ahead and check them out. I'm going to put all of these in a playlist so that they're easy to find. But just to recap, we had Hamdog CDXX versus the Red Celt for the first battle, and Hamdog is victorious. And then we've got Gearhawk versus the Hunted, and Gearhawk came out on top on that one. So Hamdog versus Gearhawk will be pinned together for round 2. And then we had Max Laser versus Helix in the last battle, and Max Laser won that one against Helix. So he will be in round 2 as well. So we've just got to find out who our last competitor will be in round 2. So it's going to be between Grim Guardian and Moronic. So without further ado, let's get into it. Alright guys, here we are on the battle map. So this is Moronic versus Grim Guardian, as I said before. So Moronic is coming right out of the gate and playing as the Roman Empire. So if you guys remember from the rules, which will be in the description, you're only allowed to play a faction once in the entire tournament. So Moronic is going to be using Rome for his very first battle, hopefully to secure an early victory. And Grim Guardian has chosen Bactria as the opponent. And I have fast-forwarded a little bit because their battles are a little bit longer. So the skirmish phase is underway. But we can go ahead and look at the army compositions first, and then hopefully the battle will have started. And just a quick note as well, so if you guys haven't checked out my last battles, a lot of these replays are pretty accurate until the last 2 to 2.5 minutes of the battle. The reason for that is because I recorded all of these battles before the new update Empire Divided DLC came out, and it's effectively put my replays as out of date so they don't turn out exactly the way that they're supposed to. So if it's unclear at the end of the battle who won, I will announce the winner. And one of the round 2 battles and the final battles are all on the new DLC updated version, so they will be fine. It's just all of the round 2s and one of the round, all of the round 1s and one of the round 2s that are affected. But I can't record it, and I can't roll back the changes, I can't save the replays, so we're just going to muscle on through. So let's take a look at Moronic's forces on the flank here. So he's got 2 units of auxiliary cavalry over here with some vigiles backing them up. He's got his general's bodyguard, a legatus, on this flank. And he's got 1 unit of auxiliary cavalry with a vigile on that flank. And then in the center, he's got a nice long line of first cohort, got 4 units of them. And then he's got 4 units of Evocati cohort in behind, with 3 units of mercenary Syrian archers. Looking at Bactria, over on this side, we've got some Thurio spears mixed in with some citizen cavalry. So both of them deciding to go heavier on the one flank. Then we've got some scaled thorax hoplites over here as well, with some thorax swords kind of in the center group, with 1 unit of Bactrian hillmen. He's got some elite Persian archers, 3 units of pikemen. And the general is the Bactrian Royal Guard. Let's see if we can find... Yeah, there he is. See how he's got the sword? That way I know he's the general. So he's looking ready for battle. He's looking right and left, probably trying to take a look at his flanks and make sure that he's still supported over there. So he's got 2 more units of Thurio spears with citizen cavalry here. So Grim Guardian has more on the flanks than Moronic does. This flank is looking a little light over here for the Romans, and I think that Moronic realizes that, so he's sending some Evocati cohort over here to defend. And actually sending more Evocati cohort over on this side as well. So let's go ahead and put this onto play. And we can probably see if we can see the general, except he's decided to ride out now. But that would be him right there in the golden Curious. So he's going to support the right flank. So let's exactly see what happens here. So it looks like it's going to start with Moronic pushing his auxiliary cavalry over to this flank. Grim Guardian is going to also push forwards his citizen cavalry here, but the auxiliary cavalry will be better than the auxiliary cavalry. The auxiliary cavalry will be better than the citizen cavalry. Obviously, they're not better than themselves, but it looks like he's going to get a charge off on them too, which is not the best. To get a counter charge would have been a little bit better, but that's pretty much first blood, and a lot of the elite Persian archers are starting to fire down on the auxiliary cavalry over here. And looks like we got some Vigiles charging in here. These guys are not going to get too much done, because they're basically like plebs with spears. But there we go. They're starting to push forwards into the ranks. Looks like we got some of the scaled thorax hoplites going over there against the Roman infantry. So the battle has begun, but not on this side. We're kind of just focusing on this flank for now. Looks like they're both microing as hard as they can. Got the two opposing cavalry kind of duking it out here. We got more citizen cavalry riding into the mix. You can hear the shower of the arrows coming down as well. But this auxiliary cavalry will best them in open, the citizen cavalry in open melee. But we got these elite Persian archers here firing down on the cavalry. Probably getting some friendly fire, but hopefully killing a lot of the enemy as well. How are we looking over here with these scaled thorax hoplites? These guys are pretty elite, and I haven't really ever seen this unit before. But they are holding back the Roman infantry pretty effectively, and the Romans are spread out pretty wide in their formation, and as you can see, the thorax swords are getting some good hits against the Roman infantry with their pila. And not really getting any friendly fire whatsoever. More of the Persian archers actually firing all the way down here against the mercenary Syrian archers. Or, well, they're not really mercenary, they're auxiliary Syrian archers. But yeah, it looks like the Vigiles were crushed over on this flank, and the auxiliary cavalry is pulling away. One of the units has routed just because they were supported so well on the flanks. So it looks like Grim Guardian is victorious over on this side. But I think now it's time to move in on the other flank as what Moronic is thinking. So he's going to try to put some more pressure over here against Grim Guardian. But the pila throwing is just going to be relentless for these Vigiles. Let's go ahead and get a good view there. At least they do have their shields, so they are blocking most of the shots. But yeah, ooh, yeah, getting a couple of good kills there. But they did manage to kind of soak up all the enemy fire for the Evocati cohort, I believe, that's moving in over on this side. They're moving in against the Thurio spears. Let's go ahead and, ooh, good pila throw there. Let's go ahead and put this on slow motion so we can see their charge. With Rome 2, they kind of got like that little stuttery charge moving into melee. And we got the Persian archers firing down on the flanks of these men as well. Let's go ahead and jump out of there. Put this back onto play. So these Thurio spears will get chewed up by the Evocati cohort for sure, but the Vigiles have been broken pretty easily. So Moronic's going to need to send more Evocati cohort over onto this flank. We've got the auxiliary cavalry over here that's lining up, and it looks like we're going to have a nice cavalry charge. The citizen cav versus the auxiliary cavalry. Nice charge there. We've got more citizen cavalry being peeled away, possibly going to support the auxiliary cavalry. Yes, it looks like they are. Probably going to sneak around the flank and maybe get a good charge off. But in the center, not much going on, so they're really just funneling more and more soldiers onto the flanks to try and win out on either side. But not really any engagement going on in the center, which is interesting. Oh, this is going to be a bad charge here for these poor Evocati. Let's get this charge. Citizen cavalry are lined up and ready to go. Ooh, yep. That was a good charge, pressing them right into the scaled thorax hoplites. And not too many of them are getting up after that charge. So they may actually have broken the Evocati cohort. Looks like some Vigiles are coming in to try to pen the citizen cavalry in. But over here, it's also not looking too good for the Romans. The balance of power is about dead even, maybe a hair in the favor of the Bactrians. Well, we got some pretty good meaty fighting here, but looks like these Thorax swordsmen are facing away fighting the Evocati cohort. They're facing with their backs to these auxiliary Syrian archers, so they're going to get some good firing into the backs of these men. Oh, yep, he was killed. Yeah, and it looks like the citizen cavalry is breaking over here. Thurio Spears is getting pretty banged up. Thorax swordsmen also pretty banged up. So it's swinging almost back to the dead even standpoint. It looks like the Evocati cohort survived that charge too. And the Bactrians are pulling back. They're pulling back their scale thorax hoplites over here, but they got some disgusting Pila shots against them as they moved back to the center. So no mercy for the Evocati cohort here. And yeah, we're kind of just seeing some redeployment here. It looks like Grim Guardian is going to get a more favorable position here. And I'm going to make a quick cut here, and we'll kind of start the battle again once we see the end of the fighting in the center. Alright guys, welcome back. So the Romans have pushed forwards to the defensive position of the Bactrians, and Moronic was pretty wise with his soldiers, actually avoiding the pike line altogether. So if you can see here, Grim Guardian had his 3 units of pikemen right here. Let's actually watch this. He's actually mowing them down with some choice Pila throws and then retreating. So that's a really, really good plan by Moronic there. Watch his he needs to watch his first cohort, though, because they're kind of getting caught up in melee a little bit. But he's really pulling these pikes out of position, and he moved a lot of his elite infantry over to the flanks where he could deal with the Thurio Spears and Thorax Swordsmen more effectively. And then over on this flank as well, we have the General, the Bactrian Royal Guard. He is engaged in melee with some swords and some hillmen. But we got the Vigiles over here as well that will be pushed into melee against these hillmen very soon. So it looks like the Romans are doing quite well against this defense, because the Romans really don't have anything except for a ranged missile to combat the pikes. We got some elite Persian archers being pushed into melee over here. But it looks like Moronic, he's just going to continue to pull back and not engage. Over here, you can see that there's a couple of units really not doing anything. I suspect that these were kind of glitched in the update, so these probably do not exist. These extra units over here that are not moving. But the balance of power is still close to even. The Bactrians are kind of taking the balance of power from the Romans. Let's go ahead and zoom into here and see this grind. Fight on, Romans, fight on. Oh, here comes the Legatus. So the General actually charging into the flanks here of the Bactrian Royal Guard. But over here we do have some wavering from the Bactrians. Got the Thurio Spears starting to waver. The Thorax Swordsmen are holding. And we've got some pikes over here actually pushing on the flanks of the Romans, which isn't a good sight to see. And we've got some more pikes actually pushing over here, but Moronic is bringing back his first cohort to deal with them. And down to the last 36 seconds of the battle, so this probably, if Moronic and Grim, you are watching, this probably isn't playing out exactly the way it should. But the balance of power is pretty dead even, but I don't know if it's going to show a conclusion by the end of that. But this was actually a victory for Rome. So he was able to break a lot of these pikes, as you can see, kind of getting in behind them and sandwiching them in between the Roman lines. And a lot of the infantry did start to break there at the end. So this was a victory for Rome. So Moronic is up 1. So let's join up in the next battle. Welcome back, guys, to the second battle here. Grim Guardian versus Moronic. I had a little bit of a stutter there. But we've got some elite Praetorians on the battlefield here. And if you're thinking, hey, we just saw Rome in the last battle. Well, yes, Moronic was using Rome in the first battle. But now Grim Guardian, he doesn't want to be knocked out of this tournament just yet. So he's decided to play his Rome card. And he is going to hopefully win the day here. But he is going to be facing another tough faction, the Macedonians. So you can see, again, pretty similar formations with the spears and cavalry on the flanks. But we've seen Macedon before, so we'll just kind of run through them. But he's got Moronic's got 3 units of pikemen out front. He's got a couple units of hoplites. He's got some thorax swordsmen here, 3 units. And he's got a shield bearer for his general. On the flanks, he's got some Aspis Campanian cavalry and Thessalian cavalry with a hoplite unit, and it's mirrored on the other side. And then looking at Grim Guardian's force, of course, he's bringing the auxiliary Syrian archers. Then he's got a couple units of his Stadi in the front lines. I really like his spaced out formation here in the diamond. It looks nice. But he's got some veteran legionaries, some Praetorian Guard, and some legionaries. He's got some Vigiles in behind, which will no doubt be moving to the flanks to help his cavalry. He's got 2 other units over here with his auxiliary cavalry. He's got his general and bodyguard, and 2 more auxiliary cavalry on this side. So let's go ahead and put this on to play. And the main thing that I noticed right off the bat is that these pikemen are starting to get fired upon by the auxiliary Syrian archers. And when you look at Moronic's army composition, he actually doesn't have any skirmishers at all. So he cannot afford to sit back like this, especially with his pikemen. This is what makes the Hellenic faction such a tough nail to hit. Well, trying to think of a better analogy than that. A tough... Let's just disregard that then. Yeah, but these pikemen are tough as nails, basically, is what I was trying to say. He only has 3 units of them, and they're already starting to take a lot of fire, as you can see. They do have shields, so they will be able to block some of the missiles, but this is a perfect position for the auxiliary Syrian archers to just fire down at them. Look at that, down to 145, 148 over here, 152. So they're starting to take some losses. And I'm seeing no movement at all from Moronic's flanks either. Maybe trying to push these archers back. He does have better cavalry and better spears than the Romans do. And these pikes are what's going to win him the battle against the Praetorian Guard and the legionaries and veteran legionaries. So he really can't just sit back like this and just get fired upon. The hoplites in behind are the second line of defense here.
I will kill any man who shows fear or mercy.
You'll kill any man who shows fear or mercy. Wouldn't it be like natural to be scared in a battle like this? I don't know. I think fear is pretty healthy. Like, it keeps you on your toes. Like, you don't want to just be all willy-nilly moving into the battle. Just be like, oh, yeah, going to kill some people today. Whatever. Just another day at the office. Oh, this is so... This hurts my heart to see these pikemen getting just wrecked for no reason. They're down to 119, 105, and 91 over here. So these archers are just doing a number. You can see that the balance of power is pretty heavily in favor of the Romans already. So Grim Guardian kind of getting some payback here. Maybe looks like he will be able to secure himself another shot at, you know, victory and moving on to round 2. if Moronic doesn't move forwards like this. But then again, I don't really know. This could be that the replay is glitched and this didn't actually happen. So, Moronic, if this did not happen and you did move forwards, then be sure to comment below so that people know. Know that this actually wasn't the way that it happened. But I think, as far as I can tell, it's only the last couple minutes of the replay that is glitched. Everything else seems to play out, you know, decently tactical, so I'd imagine that it's not out of the ordinary. But we got some Vigiles over here that are penning in the Macedonian cavalry that charge into the auxiliary cavalry. But we've got one unit of auxiliary cavalry that just went right around these hoplites. And then over on the other flank as well, we got the 2 units of Macedonian cavalry kind of just staring down the auxiliary cavalry on that flank. Looks like we're going to get a nice charge over here. Just went right around those hoplites to get a good charge into the backs of the Aspis companion cavalry. So that to me seems pretty tactical. So I think that the replay is okay up until this point. Well, we got the hoplites moving in now, so they're going to kind of flank around the auxiliary cavalry on this side and pen them in. Well, we got more legionaries being pushed into the fight. This is a little bit too many units. I would have tried to maybe move one to one side and one to another. But it looks like the rest of the Roman forces are being pushed forwards to the center. These pikes are pretty much dead now. 55, 62, and 45 men. One of them is even wavering. We've got some hoplites that are moving forwards over here because we've got some Vigiles, again, supporting really well their auxiliary cavalry on the flanks against the Macedonians. We've even got some veteran legionaries pushing forwards as well. Those hoplites need to get here quickly. Can hear the rally horn going on. But it looks like the hoplites aren't pushing in to engage. I would get them in there. Yeah, there we go. Get them in there, support. Or is he might be actually trying to get them in range for their Pila, but maybe they just weren't throwing them because they were blocked by the cavalry. So he is going to push in, and that's a pretty good formation because now this unit's going to be able to flank around the Vigiles. But we've got the general and bodyguard for the Romans over here, inspiring the men. Over on this flank, the cavalry has been all but destroyed. So is one of the units of auxiliary cavalry, though, is starting to waver because they are fighting against these hoplites here. We got some nice Pila throws from the legionaries. As soon as the cavalry begins to die, the legionaries are able to kind of open fire at the hoplites. But nothing going on in the center. I've been watching that, so you're not missing anything over there. It's mainly just these kind of flank battles. We've also got some of the Syrian archers flanking around the hoplites, actually turning them around so that the Pila can be thrown into some of their backs. Let's see if the hoplites can get some kills against these guys. Come on, he's only got a dagger and no shield. Just take him out. There you go. Nice little poke. All right, how are we looking on the flank over here? 6 minutes left in the battle still. But the Aspis companion cavalry and the hoplites are trying to hold their best. But the hoplites are kind of divided on 3 sides here with the Romans. And it looks like the general and bodyguard charging into the backs of these hoplites here. They are losing decisively, it says. Because you can see the pockets of white here, so they got a few over here. They got a few actually right in the center, surrounded by Romans. And most of them are being cut down as we speak. Oh, there they are. A couple of them are getting back up. Fight, fight. Oh, nice. Getting some good kills there. But now he's kind of alone and surrounded. Oh, yeah. And there they go. Cut down. And the rest of the hoplites are kind of fighting on the flanks here. They've got to be breaking, I think. Just about. They've got 67 men left. But the Romans still have some very healthy infantry over here. The Praetorian Guard not even touched as of this point. And, yeah, these pikes really aren't going to be much use anymore, unfortunately. And, oh no, the Pila! They're just going to finish them off! Oh my goodness! Wow. Wow. Yeah, look how thin this pike unit is as well. Look, they've broken already. Wow, and the Pila are just going to unleash against these thorax swordsmen now. He really needs to push them into melee. Moronic cannot sit back here, although they do have Pila of their own, but they're not going to get many kills against the Praetorian Guard. At this point, I think they just need to push forwards. Like, look at this over here. We've got a unit of hoplites, 130, but they're already wavering. Hopefully they'll steady there. But we got a nice little kind of V defense formation here with the hoplites and the thorax swordsmen. We got the legionaries pushing real hard on the flanks with some hastati. We've also got some vigiles kind of flanking around, going after the shield bearers. So, yeah, it looks like the Macedonians have been routed on this flank as well. So, this one at least looks pretty clear, and it is correct. So, the Romans do actually win this battle. So, Grim Guardian forcing a third battle. So, this episode's going to be a little bit longer, guys, because we've got 3 battles here instead of 2. Let's see, where are the Praetorians? They're over here, are about to get flanked. Look at that, a side throw of Pila, and I didn't even see one of them fall. Yeah, these thorax swords are going to have a tough time against the Praetorian Guard. Oh, except one of them just lost their head there. Fight, men, fight. For the glory of Rome. Whoa, did you see that? There was a guy that just like zipped across there. He was like a lightning man. I don't know if you guys saw that. That was insane. It was like zoomed right across my screen. Well, lesson learned. When I get 1,000 subscribers, if I get 1,000 subscribers, I'm thinking of maybe doing a Medieval Kingdoms battle, because that's kind of my main game that I upload to the channel. And I don't think that would be... I don't think that would be as hard to find players for, because it's pretty popular. So I'm thinking maybe I could do 16 players, or possibly 32 players, and do it all across like the space of a month. And I'll just set up 2 players to actually play a couple battles and then send me the replays. And then I'm just going to record them right there. Once I receive them, so that if there is an update, it won't matter because I've already recorded the battle. And then that way this kind of thing won't happen again. But I don't know if you guys saw that, but the Vigiles unit actually chasing down the shield bearers. They were trying to run out and just get out of there, but they were locked down into melee by the Vigiles. Now, they're not going to do too much damage because these shield bearers are very elite. They're probably actually going to destroy the Vigiles quite easily. But at least the general is engaged in melee now. Oh, right in his face. And yeah, there they go. They're starting to break. But most of the Macedonians have been destroyed at this point. You can see a lot of them are starting to waver. The hoplites have broken, so the general is now going to have to go in to melee against the veteran legionaries. Over in the center, we've got these thorax swordsmen that are completely outflanked by some Praetorian Guard, and we got some hastati from behind. And we've got the thorax swordsman over here fighting bravely against 2 units of legionaries. But unfortunately, it's not going to be enough to turn the tide. And we will have a third battle between Grim Guardian and Moronic. So we'll kind of just... well, the battle will finish out very soon. So I'll just kind of zoom out. So I don't know, like I said, these units that aren't moving, they may or may not be present in the battle. So that's why I kind of just ignore them for the rest. But in the center, this looks like it would be pretty accurate. Just the timing might be off. But yes, there we go. Let's go ahead and take a look at the final battle. So whoever wins this one, it's best of 3. So if they win the next one, then that person will be on to round 2. All right, so here's a new faction that we haven't seen as of yet, the Arverni. So Moronic is bringing some Arverni to the fight today, and he is, again, facing Grim, so whoever wins this battle will be moving on to round 2, and Grim Guardian is playing as Macedon. So, yeah, Macedon's pretty popular in this tournament so far. So we're really just going to zip across his army comp, and then we'll look more in depth at Moronic's. So he's got Citizen Cav over here, Thorough Spears. He's got some Peltis, which is interesting, and he's got 4 units of pikemen in the front. He's got a couple units of thorax swords, more Peltis in the center. He's got a shield bearer, and then pretty much Citizen Cav with Thurios Spears and a Peltis unit on the flanks. So Grim Guardian is bringing Peltis, which I prefer to bring too. I really, really like Peltis. They just do so much damage, and they're really solid in melee. But the problem is that if you're bringing Peltis, you need to bring the fight to the enemy, because Peltis do not have any range. And speaking of range, it looks like the Arverni Gallic Hunters are starting to open fire as well. So he has, I believe, 4 units of them. Oh, well, no, he has 3 of them and 1 unit of Celtic Skirmishers. And then in this line here, he's got some Chosen Spearmen, 3 units. And then he's got 3 units of Chosen Swordsmen, or 4 units. 3 units of Spears, 4 units of Swords. And then in behind, too, he's got a couple of Naked Warrior units here, which I always find funny, because, like, you know, they're pretty naked, aside from the loincloth, but then they decided to all wear helmets. Like, at what point does that really matter? And plus, like, are your feet not burning from being in the sand, bro? Like, you gotta have mad blisters on the soles of your feet from walking around here. But he also has a Levy Freeman on the flank, and then he has some heavy horse here, 4 units. These guys are pretty elite. Not as elite as the Noble Horse that they can field, but the heavy horse can hold their own, and I think they would do better against the Citizen Cavalry. But check out this sunset, too. Doesn't that look amazing? With all of the horses lined up here. Let's get a nice screenshot of that, I think. But anyways, and then we've got the General over here, a Spear Noble. So you can go ahead and press play. And the General is right there. He is ready for battle. He's going to inspire his men. And if we look for Grim Guardian's General over here, there he is with his iconic sword. He's got his little beard going on.
Down, you fools!
But yes, so we've got a lot of pikemen being lost over here as well. As I was explaining the army comps, the Gallic Hunters were focusing this 1 unit in the center. A couple of the other units are still pretty healthy, which is good. But again, Grim Guardian is kind of making the same mistake as Moronic did last time by not pushing his pikemen forwards into battle quick enough. As you can see, this unit here has 64 men. So he's lost almost 100 men in that unit. But the Macedonians are pushing pretty hard on the flanks over here. So you can see he's got a pretty good sizable presence on this side. And the same on the other. So Moronic is bringing some of his soldiers over here. He's got some of his Naked Warriors, his Heavy Horse, and his Spear Nobles, the General, over on this side. And it looks like we got some of the Gallic Hunters being redeployed to that side as well. So maybe to get some early skirmish off, I'm not exactly sure. But we will find out very soon, I think. Hopefully they will begin to start pushing forwards. It looks like this flank is going to begin the battle. I think he's trying to get in range so that his Thurios Spears can start to throw their Pila. got the Gallic Hunters starting to fire down, though. And it looks like they're focusing on the citizen cavalry. So that is a good tactic, trying to eliminate the cavalry quickly enough. Oh, they're doing a little dance. Yep, there they go. They're starting to throw their Pila in. I believe that's against the Levy Freeman. But again, we got more Pila coming back, really wrecking the citizen cavalry. And it looks like we got some heavy horse charging here. Oops. And it looks like they're going to charge right into the spears. Wow, actually a pretty decent charge there against the Thurio spears. Also on this side, too. It's a little bit risky charging into spears like that, but if he can get his cavalry out fast enough, that might pay off. Because now that the Thurio spears are starting to get back up from that charge, the heavy horse will start to drop pretty quickly. Have we started on the other side? Nope, nothing going on over there. But, oh, we do have some citizen cavalry that's pushing in behind, getting at the Gallic Hunters. So I think a couple more units of Gallic Hunters are starting to focus them with arrows. Yes, they are. And it looks like they're going to try to escape. But I think the heavy horse is blocking them. You can see a couple of the Germanic... well, I don't know. Is the Arverni Germanic? I believe that they are. They're not Gallic. They're Germanic. But yeah, the heavy horse, actually, I think they did break the citizen cavalry there. No, they're still alive. It looks like some of the heavy horse is broken. The Levy Freeman is broken over here as well, but the heavy horse is still fighting strong against the Thurio spears. We got some naked warriors in the front lines, really tearing them down. But not much else going on in the battle. It's really just this one flank. See some of these naked warriors in action against the Thurio spears. I would not be brave enough to go into battle like this. I would be much more comfortable as one of these spear units. Oh, looks like we got some heavy horse coming in from behind, though, getting a nice charge again on those spears. And yeah, that's actually breaking both of them over here. Really putting the pressure on the citizen cavalry, having some major issues over here. And it looks like we're starting the battle over here as well. We got some Thurio spears about to be charged by some more of the naked warriors on this side. Looks like they're going to try to pull out, but I don't think that that's going to happen. And we got some citizen cavalry, though, getting a good flanking charge. And I think that the general would be engaged in melee, is he? No, we got some heavy horse against the citizen cav. Where did the general go? He's redeployed to the center over here. But we got some more Thurio spears taking on the chosen spearmen. But, yeah, the rest of the infantry hasn't moved forwards yet. Looks like the pikemen have been redeployed to this flank as Grim Guardian kind of realizes that he is losing on this flank over here. And they're just riding down the last of the Peltis over there, so we're not going to focus too much on that side of the battle. So let's kind of zoom in and take a look at the chosen spearmen versus Thurio spears fight. Spear versus spear. Hold, Arverni, hold. I can't feel my hand. Well, you better keep fighting there. The heavy horse are pushing back the citizen cavalry over here, though. And it looks like he's leaving the Peltis undefended, so I'm not sure if the heavy horse is going to turn in against the Peltis. But the naked warrior is actually pretty much wrecking these Thurio spears. However, they are pretty depleted as well from the Peltis. getting some good shots in behind. So the Peltas are standing here. I'm not sure. Oh, the heavy horse, it looks like they have engaged the citizen cavalry now. And I think they are going to pull back once again, maybe to the safety of their main ranks. And it looks like we got some thorax swordsmen moving forwards as well. So it looks like they're being pushed into melee. And we got some naked warriors over here, kind of just chilling, not doing too much. He's got to be careful. Moronic's got to be careful here because these thorax swordsmen, I think Grim Guardian's trying to get them in range to throw their Pila. Yes, that's exactly what's happening, and they are going to start to pick apart the ranks of the Germanics up on this little hill here. And again, this is close to the same battle map that all the round 1 players did fight on. So I tried to, use the same battle map just to make it a little more fair. So kind of the surrounding terrain may look different, but it should be the same like flat map. Blech. Come on, Celtic. Gotta stop running your words here. Gotta focus. How are we looking over here? Yeah, the Arverni are moving back victorious from this side of the battle as well. So it looks like the Macedonians are kind of stretching out their lines. I would just push in. I would try to crack these chosen spearmen with my thorax swords, which I believe will happen. But he needs to get them into melee pretty soon. I think he's also, just trying to use up his ammo before he pushes in. But the balance of power is in favor of who would it be in favor of? Yeah, the Arverni, because I'm on Moronic's side this time. Charge! The great charge. This is for all the marbles. This is whoever wins this line battle will move on to the second round. And they'll be that much closer to winning the free copy of Empire Divided, which is already out, and I will be starting a new campaign with it very soon. I've decided that I'm going to wrap up the Kingdom of Sweden episode in one more episode, so I'll probably make that an hour special for you. Oh man, this guy just got wrecked. Oh, this guy too. Oh my goodness. Rest in pieces. Come on, I want to see one of those again from like the very beginning. But yeah, you can tell the spears have broken because now they're pushing forwards into the sorted line. But yeah, back to the Kingdom of Sweden campaign. So I will probably make that an hour special. Basically, we're going to do what we said we were going to do from the first episode. And we are going to take the last Holy Roman Empire city and destroy them for good. And then that will end the Kingdom of Sweden campaign. And then that same day, I'm going to start my Empire Divided. The votes are all in, and I've already created my custom thumbnail for the Empire Divided series. So hopefully you guys will enjoy that as well. Yeah, we just got some nice, meaty fighting over here. Looks like some of the spears are still managing to hold up to the thorax swordsman. But we've got the pikemen in behind, as you can see, that are starting to push in. What's the time frame here? 3 minutes and 21 seconds left in the battle. And actually, the balance of power is starting to claw back towards the Macedonians. I think that the pikemen are going to start to give the edge just a little bit. So we do not know who the victor is going to be as of yet. It's still a pretty close battle. I'm not sure. Do the Arverni have any cavalry left? Citizen Cav versus Heavy Horse. Yes, they do. So I think whoever wins over here and can free their 2 units of cavalry, that's going to be the victor of this battle. So this is really crucial, but the Citizen Cavalry are more depleted than the Heavy Horse are, and they also have some naked warriors involved. Mind you, the Macedonians do have some Peltas, but look who's arrived but the General's Bodyguard, the chosen Spearman unit. So he's going to make sure that he wins this battle. Nice Pila throw into a lot of the Citizen Cavalry. That was disgusting. Yeah, so the Arverni have won on this side. And that will leave the Macedonians without any cavalry whatsoever. So now all of these pikemen are probably going to need to turn around to protect their flanks. Otherwise, they're going to be rear charged by the heavy horse. But a nice long battle line. I really, really like this. Got some clanging of shields over here as the thorax swordsmen kind of push past the pikemen to really get into melee against these chosen swords. Yeah, it looks like the pikemen are going to be turning around because of that. Oh, no. Looks like they were just repositioning, maybe. 1 minute left in the battle, though. The shield bearers is in melee, but they're getting pretty banged up by these chosen swordsmen. I don't even know exactly where that general would be. I wish I could find him. He would be the only one with a sword. But yeah, here come the heavy horsemen around. We got the spear nobles over here as well. Some of the Gallic hunters are breaking, but that's to be expected against the pikemen. And let's get some slow motion for the last bits of the battle here. And we got the heavy horse coming in. Yeah, so it's not looking good for Grim Guardian here. You can see a lot of his thorax swordsmen are starting to waver even. The chosen swordmen have broken through on this side, pushing back. The Macedonians are managing to kind of flank around here with their peltis and a unit of pikemen, but it's not going to be enough, I don't think. Just the sheer presence of the general in behind their men are starting to break their morale. More wavering is happening over here as the heavy horse kind of charges right into the general's bodyguard. And the shield bearers are losing. Yeah, oh, some volleys from the Pila as well as they start to charge in against the pikemen. So yeah, a lot of wavering going on. So yeah, this is pretty close to what happened, if I can remember correctly. I think it just ended up with a pretty big mass rout. So yes, Grim Guardian, thanks so much for joining, man. You really fought hard. So far, you're the only one that pushed it to 3 battles, so thanks very much for that. And Moronic is moving on to the second round, so we've got Hamdog versus Gearhawk next as the round 2 commences, and Max Laser versus Moronic in round 2. So thanks very much for watching, guys. Hopefully you're enjoying this series so far. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you'd like to see more tournaments like this in the future, and I will see you in the next one.